Here are the most recent deaths in the national news, as reported at Legacy.com, the 5th week of October plus the beginning of November 2022. Legacy.com is where you can find any obituary or publish an obituary in any newspaper in America and beyond. Musician Jerry Lee Lewis died October 28, 2022, at his home in DeSoto County, Mississippi. He died after fighting pneumonia at the age of 87. He was a pioneer of rock and roll who shaped the emerging genre in the 1950s with hits including Whole Lotta Shakin' Goin' On and Great Balls of Fire. Lewis is being remembered for his wild live shows and tumultuous personal life. His onstage antics included banging on the piano with his fists and feet and kicking the piano bench across the stage. Holocaust survivor Hannah Pick-Goslar died October 28, 2022, at her home in Jerusalem at the age of 93. She was one of Anne Frank's best friends, mentioned in her famous diary. They were both imprisoned in Bergen-Belsen concentration camp. Pick-Goslar is being remembered as a nurse who told stories of growing up with Frank for books and documentaries. Singer Geraldine Hunt died October 27, 2022, at the age of 77. She was known for her song Can't Fake the Feeling, which was a #1 disco hit in 1980. Hunt is also being remembered for songs including I Let Myself Go and Heart Heart. Football coach Vince Dooley died October 28, 2022, in Athens, Georgia, at the age of 90. He was the longtime head coach at the University of Georgia, leading the Bulldogs to an undefeated season and the national championship in 1980. He is being remembered as one of the most successful coaches in the history of the Southeastern Conference. Dooley was a veteran of the U.S. Marine Corps who served in the 1950s. Poet Gerald Stern died October 27, 2022, at Calvary Hospice in New York City at the age of 97. He won a National Book Award in 1998 for his collection This Time, New and Selected Poems. He is being remembered for his lyrical poetry, which was compared to Walt Whitman's. Stern was a veteran of the U.S. Army Air Forces who served in the 1940s. Musician D.H. Peligro died October 28, 2022, at his home in Los Angeles. He died after taking a fall at the age of 63. He was the longtime drummer for the legendary punk band The Dead Kennedys, driving their influential sound. Peligro is being remembered as a powerhouse drummer who also played briefly for the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Musician Robin Sylvester died October 29, 2022, at the age of 71 or 72. He played bass with the jam band RatDog, alongside Grateful Dead guitarist Bob Weir. Sylvester is also being remembered as a session musician who played with greats including the Beach Boys and Mary Wells. Rapper Takeoff died November 1, 2022, in Houston. He died in a shooting at the age of 28. He was in the hip-hop trio Migos, known for hits including Bad and Bougie and Versace. Born Kershnik Ball, Takeoff is also being remembered for his solo work and for his recent album as a duo with Quavo. Musician Patrick Haggerty died October 31, 2022, after suffering a stroke at the age of 78. He was the lead singer and guitarist for Lavender Country, the first openly gay country band. Haggerty is being remembered as a pioneer and activist for the LGBTQ community. Daniel Smith died October 19, 2022, at a hospice in Washington, D.C. He died of congestive heart failure and bladder cancer at the age of 90. He was believed to be the last living person who was the child of an enslaved American. His father was born into slavery in 1862 or 63. He jokingly called himself the Black Forrest Gump, as he was present at the scene of several key moments in American history, including Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech and Barack Obama's inauguration. Smith was a U.S. Army veteran who served as a medic in the Korean War. Writer Gael Greene died November 1, 2022, at an assisted living facility in New York City. She died of cancer at the age of 88. She was the longtime restaurant critic for New York Magazine, where she coined the term foodie and influenced dining trends for generations. Greene is also being remembered for serving as a judge on Top Chef Masters and for co-founding the charity City Meals on Wheels. Cartoonist George Booth died November 1, 2022, at his home in New York City. He died of complications of dementia at the age of 96. He was a cartoonist for The New Yorker for 50 years, creating beloved covers for the magazine as well as hundreds of cartoons. He is being remembered for the cats and dogs he often drew, especially the bull terrier that became The New Yorker's unofficial mascot. Booth was a U.S. Marine Corps veteran of World War II and the Korean War, who drew cartoons for the Marines' publication Leatherneck. Football player Ray Guy died November 3, 2022, after a lengthy illness at the age of 72. He played for the Raiders in the 1970s and 80s, winning 3 Super Bowls with the team. Guy is being remembered as the greatest punter of all time and the first to be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Food writer Julie Powell died October 26, 2022, at her home in Olive Bridge, New York. She died of cardiac arrest at the age of 49. Her project for her blog, in which she cooked her way through Julia Child's Mastering the Art of French Cooking, led to her book Julie and Julia and the popular movie based on it. Powell is being remembered as an inspiration to other amateur cooks and food writers. At Legacy.com, any family can publish an obituary in honor of a loved one's memory, online and in local newspapers everywhere. Just visit Legacy.com and select your local community. Every week in the United States, flags are lowered to half-staff to honor the lives of Americans whose communities are mourning their loss. Here are the most recent half-staff memorial flag honors. Flags in Georgia have been lowered to honor the memory of University of Georgia football coach and athletic director Vincent Joseph Dooley. Flags in North Carolina have been lowered to honor the memory of former state senator Stan Bingham. Flags in South Dakota have been lowered to honor the memory of former state representative O.L. Larry Anderson. Flags in Tennessee have been lowered to honor the memory of state representative Barbara Cooper. Flags in Maryland have been lowered to honor the memory of firefighter Juan Wilson of the Baltimore City Fire Department. Flags in Kentucky have been lowered to honor the memory of London Police Department officer Logan Kendall Medlock, who died in the line of duty. This week also marks several notable anniversaries. 15 years ago this week, singer and actor Robert Goulet died at the age of 73. He was a Tony Award winner who starred on Broadway in Camelot. 15 years ago this week, professional wrestler Lillian Ellison, also known as the Fabulous Moolah, died at the age of 84. She was the first woman inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. 20 years ago this week, musician Jason Mizell, also known as Jam Master Jay, died at the age of 37. He was the DJ for the influential hip-hop group Run DMC. Painter and TV host Bob Ross was born 80 years ago this week. He died in 1995 at the age of 52. He was the beloved host of the PBS program The Joy of Painting. Actress Barbara Bel Geddes was born 100 years ago this week. She died in 2005 at the age of 82. She won an Emmy Award for her starring performance on Dallas as Miss Ellie Ewing. Actress and singer Dale Evans was born 110 years ago this week. She died in 2001 at the age of 88. She was one of America's favorite cowgirls as she starred in movies and on TV with her husband, Roy Rogers. You can read more about the lives of the people featured in this video on Legacy.com. You can also follow Legacy.com on Facebook and subscribe to our channel on YouTube to stay up to date on national news deaths.